Hey, we're here and we're live. And before we do anything else, we have a quick test. We want to find out where the microphone on our laptop is. So this is a little test to make sure you're all listening and you're all paying attention. I'm going to lean forward and get close to the laptop. I'm going to say 1 and I'm going to say 2. I just seriously just want you to type either 1 or 2 depending on which is louder, so we know where the microphone on the laptop is.
Okay, so type the number of the loudest one.
Yeah.
1 or 2.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
So type 1 if 1 is louder, type 2 if 2 is louder. And as you see, we do now have comments enabled, so you can comment straight on this. We'll use the WhatsApp thing for later, but for this is just on the stream. Okay, so 1, 2.
Where is our microphone?
Which one is
2?
louder? Which one
Tell
is
us.
louder? We need this for later when we do the jingles.
Nobody's commenting yet. Come on, guys. Maybe it's on here. Hang on, let me check the WhatsApp.
2.
2.
Great, thank you, Thomas.
2,
that
2.
side. 2, 2, 2. Great.
Which
so the
one was
microphone
2,
is that
then?
side. That side.
This
is
side.
2. That side.
Okay,
is
this
2.
side's louder.
Great.
Hello. Okay.
Great.
Cool. Hi.
James says 1. Well, James,
Oh.
you need your ears checked because everyone else says 2.
Wait, Rose says the same.
They're the same. Okay, well, we'll go with 2 because it's easier
We'll
for
go
you to
with
reach.
2.
Cool. Simon Bub says dos in Spanish.
What
in
does
there.
that mean? Oh,
Spanish,
2
isn't
in
it? Spanish.
Spanish. Okay.
Good. Welcome to Pow Online, guys. Welcome. Episode 2. It
Episode
actually
2.
happened, and it happened at the time it was supposed to happen. We're quite excited about that. It's
We
no
are.
mean feat.
I know.
We have several things to do today. We're going to listen to all your jingles, and we're going to give you another sort of weekly challenge of things to send in to us.
Yeah.
We're going to do another Who's Most Likely To. We're going to look at James 5, and we're also going to... Oh, what's the other thing? What's the first thing we're doing?
We are... I can't remember.
Oh, it's the photo. Send in a photo. Send in a photo.
already
That's what
said
we're doing
that.
right now.
Okay.
No. So that's the week-long one.
Got it.
So
okay.
I've got a new week-long challenge for you. So it was jingles last week. I've got something new for you next week. But right now, it's the very quick 3-minute, send us the best photo of something. So last week it was a tooth, a single tooth. And did we have a winner on that one? I think the Mansons did pretty well.
I think the Mansons had...
Yeah. And
many
we were
teeth, they
persuaded
had to
it
be
wasn't
the
a
winners.
tic tac. It wasn't a tic tac. It was a real tooth. But so no more body parts involved in this one. What we need you to do this time is send us a photo of the oldest thing you can find.
Ooh. Yeah.
Send us a photo of the oldest thing you can find. Okay? Just put it on the group. That's fine. Send us a photo of the oldest thing you can find. And you've got about 3 minutes.
Let's say 3 minutes. Should we time it?
We'll time it and we'll play some nice music.
Okay, I'm putting the timer on. So you've got 3 minutes starting from now. Go and find the oldest thing you can find. I wonder what year we'll get to.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Should we do a random conversation
Yeah,
while
yeah,
nobody's
yeah.
listening? I hope no one's listening. Okay, we're already getting some photos in. I'm going to wait to share them.
Don't take a photo of your parents just straight away. Like, give it a little bit of comedic tension before you think of that one. Okay, right, we're going to talk about sponges.
Sponges.
We're going to talk about sponges. You know what's weird about sponges is the fact that they go rock hard when you don't use them for a while. We got some really nice little soft sponges from Arlo, and we don't use them anymore. The last time I came across them, it was like a brick. It was like a really light brick. It was rock solid. I just find it ironic that something that's so spongy, literally spongy and soft, when you start soft, becomes something so hard, and then you get it wet and then it goes back to normal.
Do you remember those flannels you used to get when you were kids that were like in a kind of shape and they were rock hard, and then you put them under the water and it would just turn into a flannel?
Didn't have those, mate.
Really?
Africa,
They were always
mate.
like Disney things and stuff. They come in like the shape of a star.
Did they come in a
and
little
it would come a
pot?
little mermaid flannel.
Oh, I think I've heard about those, but no, I was deprived of those. Didn't have any little
I always
mermaid
wondered how
flannels.
they made them.
I don't know.
Anyway.
You know what I used to do with flannels? I used to get the hot sink full of water and I'd put the flannel up on it, like lie it down.
would, like, try and
so it was
lay it
land,
flat,
lay it flat, and then wait for it to sink and imagine that it was like land being flooded.
Yeah.
And then I'd have to make a decision if I was on this land and it was slowly sinking. Where's
would
the high
land.
ground? Exactly, where would I lie to? And then I'd go there and I'd be like, okay, there. And then you'd watch the water come up and you see that little bit sink under and you'd be like, oh, I should have chosen that. And then I'd pull it up and I'd do it again.
Yeah.
Flannel fun.
So a real sponge is actually living.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, yeah, I think so.
Is that
Yeah.
really stupid?
Coral
Tell us
stuff.
if we're not.
Coral things, like in the ocean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I reckon so.
They don't have a brain.
No, I don't know what they are. I bet it's the kind of thing that William Milne.
Do you prefer a sponge?
Simon, little shout out for the song.
Do you prefer
Absolutely.
a sponge or a washing up brush?
Oh, I'm used to a sponge, but a washing up brush is probably
Well,
better.
no, we've got one of those which is like a washing up
sort of
brush,
half-
but with the
half and
sponge
half,
and you
isn't
put the washing up liquid in.
You didn't know that was possible, did you?
Oh, we're getting loads of pictures in. You've
Got
only
40
got
seconds left to get your
42
photos in.
seconds left. Is there anything else to say about sponges? Not a lot, is there? Can't think of anything. Right, we're getting loads of messages. Oh my god.
We're just looking at the photos.
Okay, I think some of these might need some. Oh my goodness, there's some really good ones. There's one that's a definite contender to be a winner.
Okay.
Who put that on?
Oh, you put a photo of my child on there. We're not going to show that on here because we don't
Oh
want
my
to.
word, there's so many.
Okay. Oh, has time run out?
No, the time doesn't run out. You've still got time to get a photo.
How long you got? You got 4 seconds.
4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Stop. Oh, William, just in the nick of
The
time.
girl from Ipanema is going to stop for a second.
Okay. Cancel. Stop this timer. Right.
Okay, I'm looking forward to these.
Okay.
The oldest thing.
Oh my word, there's a really hideous photo on the end. Right, let's. I think everyone can see these on the group.
That's right. I haven't seen any of them, so it'll be about my reaction.
I hope no one minds, but I'm going to hold them up to the screen. So first, we have a picture of our pastor.
So hold it close to the camera. So
sorry about this.
He's not that old.
That's a bit cruel, isn't it?
Well, anyway, that's the
now
standard.
Now we have a
that's
photo
the standard.
of one of our elders.
You guys just went
also
straight for
cruel.
your parents.
Yes.
I knew that would happen. When we talked about this, we said they'll all just take pictures of their parents.
Yeah. Okay, this is some sort of strange Lego man with a bowl cut. I'm not entirely sure how old is it?
No, is it a really old Lego figure? It's probably from like the 80s or something.
Oh, hang on.
It's a Lego figure.
I need to scroll.
But it's from the 80s.
It's from. There's no explanation.
Because it's a Lego man, but he has no arms. So that's like a basic
so it's like
early.
a vintage Lego
It's a
man.
vintage Lego person.
A vintage Lego man.
Okay, so I'm going to say that's older than Tim.
Okay, Rose has sent something that's 150 years old. It is. Do you know what that is?
No.
Some kind of like
antique thing in a box.
Antique thing in a box, like sort of a telescope.
It's disassembled. You could have assembled it so we knew what it was.
But it's 150 years old.
Okay.
Oh my god!
Take
It's
your
a
word
microscope
for it.
set.
Take your word
People
for
keep
it.
sending messages. I have to keep scrolling back through to find the images. Right, next one is a 1p coin from. I don't know if you can see this.
You sent that in.
A 1p coin from 1862. The date is at the bottom. Yes, it is correct. And the person who sent this was James. Well done, James.
James Maloney or Greenfield?
Oh, I don't know.
We don't know. Sorry, we
I don't know. I don't know who sent this.
Can you recognise the
James,
hand? I'm gonna guess it's Maloney.
I'm guessing Maloney, but
I'm guessing Maloney.
I'm really unsure. Tell us who you are. Henry has sent us.
You see, this makes me think it's
picture
Greenfield.
of some kind of rock, which you can't even see on there.
I reckon that's just something that we
I'm
found on
not
the
sure
carpet.
what that is. Yeah, it looks like I don't know what that is. A very old pistol of some sort. Not sure how old that one
We're
is.
not showing the photo of Marlo.
That's cruel. He's not old. And
we don't want Marlo on YouTube.
Henry just said about his picture, it's a rock. Okay. Then we've got what's this? Cherry has sent us something. Dalton stoneware mineral bottle, 1800s, found under our house when we did it up.
Decent.
So let's have a look at that. So that is 1800s. Okay. Ooh.
Nice.
Some other kind of weird rock. An old hymn thingy
from Judah. Thank you, Judah.
That looks good. An Asterix
in the big fight. Is it that old? I've read that.
It doesn't have a
decent.
date.
I used to love Asterix.
I don't know when it's from. I can't see a date.
Another rock.
So many rocks, guys. An old kind of clock thing.
From 1720 from Martha.
1720. You can't see these pictures. I'm really sorry.
So far, I think my favourite
World War II shell case from Madden. Wow,
so far the coin is my favourite.
Oh, the gun is 250 years old.
Yeah, all right.
That's pretty good. And then
a photo of a man.
A photo of William Milne when he's 70 years old. Creepy. Okay, right. That's quite bizarre. And a big old sword, probably used during one of the wars from Simon Bum. Just one of the wars.
Just one of the wars when people
that have happened
wars
in history.
Back in the day. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know if I can show that one. And a 2nd century TV remote. and a Michelangelo painting. So that's the
Made into a
Renaissance.
gift from
Actually,
Asher.
that probably is the oldest. That's from the Renaissance. So well done, Asher, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Well done.
Well done.
Okay, so I think the one that sticks out to me is the coin.
It's exhausting.
And the little mineral bottle, because that's like old.
Yeah.
And I like the coin especially because the coin is in circulation. So that's seen some time. That's seen all these different people, all this different life. So who was that I said? So James, whichever James it was that sent in the coin.
James, whoever you are.
Well done.
Well done.
You are James the winner.
James the winner.
Whether it's in Maloney or Greenfield.
Right.
Cool. So that's good. Well done. Now we've got something else. So the
what we're doing?
Well, I don't know whether to do. No, I
doing.
do. I just don't know whether to do this. So should we do the jingle review now?
Jingle review? What do you think?
We've got a lot of jingles to go through. Now,
we got so many jingles.
With the jingles, what we're going to do is we're just going to sort of review them now.
Yeah.
And then what we'll do next week is right at the beginning at 7:30 when we kick off the episode, we'll play the one that we like best.
The winning jingle.
The one that is the winning jingle.
So you have to be there on time.
Yes.
To find out who the winner is.
So we won't announce a winner today. We're just going to review each of them and just say what each of the pros and cons and strengths or otherwise of each jingle are.
Right. So
should we do them chronologically?
Let's do them chronologically.
Now, I have to admit, the first one we got in from Cherry and Maddock, Sarah has had in her head ever since.
It was really catchy.
Wandering around the flat going, anyway, do you want to play it?
Okay, right. So the microphone's over here. I'm really hoping you guys can hear this. Sorry if you can't. Right, this is from Cherry and Maddock. This is their Pow jingle. Hang on. I need to turn the volume up. Hold on. Hold on.
Pow Online, Pow Online, this is Pow Online, Pow Online, Pow Online, we'll be learning about the Lord.
Classic.
That was amazing.
Now, things I like about that, I like that you used the Pow clap.
It was 10 seconds long.
Perfect timing.
Had 2 voices in it.
2 voices.
Used the Pow clap.
Rhythm.
Yeah.
Catchy. It's exactly what a jingle needs to be. If you just want like a classic jingle, it was
a great jingle, basically.
What do you reckon, guys? Scores out of 10 for Maddock and Cherry.
Put your scores up in the comments.
Put your scores out of 10.
What did you like? What did you not like?
I think that's a really good one to start the feed off.
That has set the bar high.
Really good.
Okay, who have we got next?
Judah gives it a 10. Decent. Okay, go on. Wow. Next. Who's next?
Judah. I found Judah's next. I'm just scrolling through and trying to find them. Okay, here we go. This is Judah.
Maddock gives it a 10.
If you don't subscribe in the next 3.6 seconds, I will delete your Bible account.
Oh, that sounds threatening.
What's a Bible account?
Well, that's
quite threatening, yeah.
So, one is the problem because there's only one voice.
It's only 6 seconds long.
I like the tone of it. I can really imagine. Yeah, I can really imagine that playing at the beginning of something.
Yeah.
So I do really like that about it. Second thing, I don't know the Bible account thing. I'm like, wait, what?
It's also only one voice.
But I like the mood.
But it was
good.
And
I also like the fact that it's an American accent because that adds it just adds a little bit of flavour. So I do like that one. I have to say I do like it.
Right, I think we should save Ashes for later. Yeah, we'll do that one later. Right, next person. Let's find another one. We got something from, oh my goodness. Stanley. One from Stanley. Let me find it. This is a good one. Right, you ready for it? This is Stanley's.
It's 7:30 on a Friday. Do you know what that means? It's time for Pow Online. Son las 7:30 de un viernes. ¿Sabes lo que eso significa? Es la hora Pow.
I hope you could hear that. It was quite quiet on my phone for some reason.
Maddock has just made a good point that Judas doesn't say the words Pow Online. That's a good point.
I'm really sorry, Judas. We did like it though.
We do like it. And that one, I think that one has got that's got the same sort of quality as Judas one in the sense of the kind of like just a spoken voice. Does have Pow Online. Also has some random Spanish, which you always like. Everyone likes a bit of random Spanish.
Anyway, I don't speak Spanish.
It was Spanish. The only thing I'm hoping is I don't speak Spanish, so I'm hoping that Spanish isn't something really obscene.
Yeah.
So someone please tell me if it was.
We assume it's appropriate.
We assume it's appropriate.
Right, okay, let me find another one. This is really hard.
They didn't really hear that one.
Finn, let's hear Finn. Hi, Finn, if you're watching. Where's the speaker on an iPhone?
Button.
Down the bottom. Okay, this is Finn.
Is it on full volume?
I hope so. It is on full volume.
Say Pow Online, Mum. Pow Online. Yay.
I'm assuming that was your actual mum. If
Wasn't.
so,
that was a
points.
recorded one, I reckon.
Oh, really?
I reckon that was a recorded
I think that was Finn's
automatic
mum.
thing.
Finn, was it your mum? Great, like it. Okay.
I do like that
who's
one, Finn.
next?
That was a late entry, and I do actually really rate that.
Johnny. Now, where's Johnny? Somewhere.
Is that a
Oh,
10 for Finn? I think that is decent, Finn. I think that's a good effort.
I think so.
Maybe when you're scoring them in the comments, say who it's for before you write the number, so it's clear who you're voting for.
Right.
But
sorry,
we've had a lot
took
of
me
10s.
ages.
A lot of people are being very generous, which is what we like. You know, that's what we like.
Right, Johnny. This okay.
Johnny do good.
Just
Now
a little.
we genuinely really like.
It's a little bit too long, but I quite
It's
like.
a little bit
this.
too long,
Yeah.
but let's go for it.
Right,
Anyway.
you ready? Oh, it was Finn's mum. Amazing.
Hey, nice.
Okay, this is Johnny's.
Can you hear that? Here we go.
Online, come check it out. Pow Online.
Like and subscribe.
Pow
Still going.
Online, come check it out. Pow Online, like and subscribe.
I
Well
love
done,
it.
Johnny.
Well done, Johnny.
Well done, Johnny. The
That's a
thing I
proper
love
piece of
about
music
that,
he's
I just
composed
love
there.
the idea of Johnny being at a little keyboard
Yeah.
doing that.
Do,
Just loving it.
It's very catchy. I like it.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Okay, right. There's only a
It's
few
a little
more.
bit flash. Thomas gives it 11 out of 10.
11 out of 10. Wow. High praise indeed. Okay, right. Sorry, we're nearly there. Who's
We haven't had Rose and Max.
Rose and Max. Let me find this one. Rose and Max have sent
We had a
us.
late entry from the Mansons.
It's exactly 10 seconds long. Impressive.
Decent.
Okay, here we go. This is Rose and Max.
Pow Online. You what, mate? Pow Online.
Hey!
Wow, that was almost supersonic. Went so
Yeah.
high.
Now, was
Wow.
that Max or was that Rose?
I actually don't know. Was it Max or Rose? Tell us.
Now,
Tell
is it?
Oh, Simon, we've got.
We should comment on that.
Sorry,
We
we
should-
haven't finished yet.
Yeah, we
Go.
have Simon and then we have Ashes to finish off with.
This is
But
stressful.
Max and Rose, we appreciate the collaboration between two people clearly working in tandem. That's
Yeah.
good. And we also I like the high pitch. That's
Yeah.
fun because you can imagine a jingle that kind of when you enjoy singing along with it
Yeah, I
is
could get
worth
into
it.
that.
So I can imagine getting into that. So well
Okay.
done, guys. I like that.
So this is Simon. I have to say, this is a particular favourite of mine. Right, you ready?
See, that's classy.
Very classy.
That's the kind of jingle
Smooth.
you get from somebody who
Hope you
plays
can hear it.
snooker in a classy club wearing a tuxedo.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
last one is an entry from the Manson family, which admittedly they realised didn't include the words Pow Online and didn't include one voice. Didn't include more than one voice. I can't stop it from playing, but it is quite good. Let's try this.
So sit back, relax, switch off your phone, and switch off from the outside world.
Like it.
It's from the cinema, isn't it?
It's from a well-known cinema.
I quite
chain.
like the idea of it, but you did just steal it from the cinema.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have thought
Great,
of that. So credit, kudos for doing that.
Okay, somebody couldn't hear something. What
Yeah,
couldn't
I'm
you
not
hear?
sure we found out where the microphone really is.
No,
Tap, 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 tap. Look, you can see it. You can see it there.
we've been doing it in the wrong place this entire time. I'm really sorry, guys.
It's all right. You've all heard them on the WhatsApp group anyway. So
No, no, they didn't.
Oh.
We'll send.
you've
them
not
to
heard
you.
any of them, so you have to take our word for it when we give you comments about where
Great
they
effort, though, guys.
Good effort.
Like,
yes.
Really good. Really, really good.
Okay, good.
Amazing. So next week, make sure you're here for 7:30 on the dot because we will play the winning jingle.
We know what it is.
Do we?
Yeah. Oh, what? I thought we did. I know what my favorite is.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Asha.
What? Oh,
Asha.
Asha, we've got yours. Okay.
So Asha, it's
Wait.
lyrics.
It's
It's lyrics only, isn't it,
dunno what that
Asha?
is.
So it's not proper a jingle. So
Yeah, it's more of a poem. We thought. So
It's a
Asha
pow-
sent us
pow poem.
some lyrics, but
A
didn't put
poem.
them to a tune. And I'm still trying. Here we go. So I think we should read it as a poem. Would you like to read it as a poem?
Okay, have you got it?
There you
Okay.
go.
This is, well, I mean, you've seen this. You know this.
Yeah.
Pow Online got me feeling real fine. We learn about the Lord and how the Bible is a sword. We stick together right to the very end because we know that God is our friend. Pow Online. Pow Online. Pow Online. Got me feeling real fine. There you go.
Deep. Liked it.
Deep.
So, well done, everyone.
Well
Got
done.
involved.
Good effort. Next week, what I want you to do is you've got a little bit more space. 10 seconds is too much of a limit on this. So I'm not going to put a rigid time limit on it. Maybe 3 minutes-ish, 2 minutes-ish. I want you to send me your best video, and the title of the video is Silk Only Club. So some of you will know exactly what to do.
What that means.
Some of you will have no idea what that means. I don't care. What I want you to do is think, what do you think Silk Only Club is? And then film a video which embodies the spirit of Silk Only Club. I'll tell you right away, it doesn't have to have a frisbee in it. Doesn't have to. The original Silk Only Club does. But for the purposes of this video,
interpret it
I just
as you
want
wish.
Distill the spirit of Silk Only Club as you understand it to be, and then do a little short video and send it our way. And I will judge. We will judge who is the most who is the true president of Silk
Fun
Only Club.
challenge.
Yeah.
Can I do it?
Yeah,
because I don't know what Silk Only
I'm not
Club
sure if he's
means.
capable of it, but you know, give it a go.
Hey.
Okay, so
I'll
that's for
try.
next week. So I'll give it a little reminder. So your challenge for this week is a video that is distilling the spirit of Silk Only Club. It's like boiling down the Silk Only Club liquid and getting this concentrate Silk Only Club. That's what we want. If you have no idea what we're talking about, don't
Like
matter.
me, yeah.
Give it a go. Give it a go.
Okay.
Also, another thing that we'd like, maybe not in the. Oh, one thing we should say actually is we're going to have to change how this group communicates over the weekend. So we might have to close down the WhatsApp group and open a new one. So just look out for that. Make sure your parents are checking their emails because we're going to have to shift some things around this weekend. So this is the last. We'll still keep doing this. There'll still be groups. There'll still be challenges and things like that. But we're going to have to tweak it. So just watch out for that.
Yeah.
And also another thing is on the channel, I want to know what you want to see Alan do. So
Good old Alan.
So if like that guy, what's he like? But so if you have any ideas of things that you think Alan should do, I don't know, maybe it's take an online Japanese course and react to that. Maybe it's try a range of hideous foods. Maybe it's just go live and take your questions live. Whatever you want Alan to do, just ping some comments in, ping them in on the group, and we'll sort of see what we can do with Alan, because you know what, we've got time, and yeah, you know, you can do it. So right now we're going to do James in a minute, but before we do that, we're going to play a little game of who's most likely to.
Who's most likely to?
Who's most likely to? So this is the game when you have to judge who's most likely to do a particular thing or to be a particular thing between me and Sarah. And so I will say who's most likely to something or other. We'll give you some time to vote in the comments, and then we'll say who we think is most likely to whatever.
Yeah.
So
this is exciting.
Exactly. So do you want your little card?
I want to know if we agree on them or not.
There you go.
Probably
We agreed on all of them last time.
We're quite good at
but
this,
we agreed on
aren't
this.
we?
Yeah.
We're quite good at this.
So the
Okay.
first who's most likely to, don't look because I don't want you to know what it is.
All right, I'm not looking.
Is I've got a list here and I don't know which one I'm going to choose yet. So who's most likely to, between me and Sarah, who's most likely to secretly be an MI6 agent?
Okay, right.
Who's most likely to, between me and Sarah, secretly be an MI6 agent?
Okay. I think I know what I'm going to say.
Let's wait for some votes, shall we?
Okay.
Let's get girl from Ipanema back on. Where is it?
All right, yeah. Chat amongst yourselves if you're in a group.
Oh, there's a divided house in the Parkers. One of them thinks Sarah, one of them thinks me.
Oh.
Yeah.
This was a good one. Well done.
Mimmy Michael. Judah thinks Mimmy Michael. That's fair play. Sarah, there's some good votes for you.
Michael.
Rose, Simon thinks you. Mama's secret mission. Okay, we'll give
Okay.
you 15 more seconds.
What are we doing?
Giving them time.
And dancing.
Brazilian singing.
Sorry, we're going a bit crazy. I haven't been at home for so long.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Okay.
Who do you think? So who's most likely to be an MI6 agent secretly this whole time without anyone else knowing?
Okay.
I think
3,
2,
2,
1.
I'm so the secret agent, aren't I? I'd be so good at it. Yeah. Maybe I am.
Yeah, I mean, should I qualify that? Because it's just so unlikely.
Yeah. And not because I'm good at lying. Yeah.
Yeah. And you feel like
I'm
you
not,
feel really
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
You're a secret agent. You have to steal from someone. You're like, do you mind? I'm just gonna take.
I'm
this."
really sorry,
Yeah,
but-
yeah. You're gonna take out someone you got a pistol. You're like,
Yeah.
sorry. Not really
Do you
bad
mind?
now.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, that was a good
Okay,
one. What's
next
the next one? I'm not
Who's
gonna
most
look.
likely to? Who's most likely to get obsessively hooked on a TV series?
Alan.
Okay, who between me and Sarah is most likely to get like obsessively, like when you're not watching it, you're like, I need to watch that next episode. Okay.
I don't even know. I'm going to see what everyone else puts and get some inspiration.
Michael.
It's pretty
vote for me.
post. Oh, okay, let me think about it.
I know what I'm saying.
I really don't know. Okay, I think I know what I'm going to say.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Both of us.
We don't have an option.
I mean, we
so
do
both.
watch most things together. So
We do, don't we?
okay, 5, 4, 3, 2,
2,
1. Okay. You know what you're.
Yeah, I know what I'm
voting?
going to say. Yeah, I know what I'm going to
Okay.
say.
I know what I'm voting. Ready, steady, vote. Ah! Now, I'm not talking about who watches the most TV shows. I watch way more like TV shows.
You think you watch more
I
TV
watch
shows?
way more. But when you get hooked on something, you like really can't wait to see the next
Yeah,
one.
and then you get that bit where the whole program's over and you're like,
Yeah, that's the other thing. When
I'm
it's
a bit
over, you get
depressed
genuinely
now.
depressed. I'm like,
Yeah.
next, I'm fine. Whereas you're just kind of like, oh, what am I gonna
yeah,
watch
and then
now?
you're like, I want to live in that program. Why
Exactly.
am I not one of the characters?
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
that's true.
So that's the first time we've disagreed. But do you agree with me now?
yeah, I think I do actually. I
Okay.
was on the fence. I think you're right. Probably it's me.
Okay.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Last one.
Okay. Last one.
Okay. Oh, I've got 2. They're both good, and I don't know which one to do. Okay, the last one is who's most likely to have a movie make them cry?
Oh, good one.
Ah, yes. Who's most likely between me and Sarah have a movie make them cry?
Again, this is trickier than I think you might at first think. Do you know what
They're just talking about my phone. at the moment.
Stop talking about the phone.
And Silas, yes, I copied you.
What? All right. Okay.
Who's most likely to make you cry? Marlo in the middle of the night. Michael. You know, each time the votes are really split.
Yeah, I
You know what I
know.
mean? There's not been anywhere. It's like, yeah, definitely Sarah or definitely Michael.
Okay.
Michael if it's Disney.
Good one, Rose.
Nice one, Rose. Okay, there's probably, I think you probably edging it. Michael, secret agent Sarah shows no emotion. Cold. Watching Bambi's mum get killed and she's like, she was weak. She didn't protect her child. She deserves it. Okay,
I'm not.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bang. Okay, I know what I'm voting. Do you know what you're voting?
I don't.
I do.
Oh, it's like that program Wanted Down Under when they can't decide whether to live in Australia or in
And
they're flipping the bit of paper and they're
random analogy.
okay, right.
You know, there's old people. They can't decide whether to move to Australia to emigrate or not. That's what this is like.
I told you we're going crazy in this house. Right,
Okay. So 3, 2, 1. Oh, we disagreed again. Nah, mate.
I was between the two.
Yeah,
I was doing
especially-
this.
Yeah.
I was doing
You,
this.
I don't think I've ever seen you cry at a movie.
I think I cry privately at movies.
Like, run into another room and sob. Nah,
I think I'd be a
definitely
bit-
me, bro.
yeah,
Like,
maybe.
yeah. There's yeah.
Oh,
Like,
good
I don't
one.
know. I don't blub, but like.
No.
I don't watch
You
like a
just
little
shed a
thing and
little
I'll just get
sneaky
like a
tear.
watery eye.
Yeah.
Especially since having a kid. Like, it's funny
Yeah.
because like anytime there's like a child and a little kid, or
Oh,
like a
yeah.
dad and a
It's
little
up-
kid, and I'm
yeah.
like, it's like Marley.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah.
Okay, well, good one.
Well done. Good. So that was who's most likely to.
Right. Spent 30 minutes playing games. Wow.
That's what power's like, man. That's what power's like. Good. Okay.
Okay. Right.
So we're gonna do James. We're gonna do James next.
Yes.
For prayer requests for this, are we gonna do it on the group or to you again? I think maybe we should do group for prayer
Let's
requests.
just do the group, unless it's something that you really want to say anonymously. Should we say, or let's just put it on the group.
Yeah, let's do group. So later on,
Um,
when you do prayer requests, if you have a prayer request that you want something prayed for, then pop it on the group, I reckon. Because then actually we can all see it later as well. So even if we miss it off today, then we can kind of do it.
Yeah.
Good. So you need to get a Bible and you need to get a paper and a pen. If you haven't got that already, then get that now.
I actually left my Bible over there.
So
Let me go
she's
and
got
get
to
it.
go and do that. So let's have some more lobby music while we're waiting. Oh, that was quick. Is it an ESV?
No.
Get the big fat one from the table. Get the fat one from the table. See, I was prepared. Always prepared.
But it's dead when she walks to the sea. She looks straight ahead.
When you've got a Bible and a pen and a paper, say ready in the comments so we know where we're at. Maybe you could ask a question to Alan. I don't know. No, I don't. No, I'm not. It was on the table. Everyone's ready. Shall we just share? Well, yeah, a tiny one. Just a prince really small. Like, you'll need a glass.
This is a complete mystery. We haven't been out this house for like a week. We prepared the Bible study with it on the table earlier.
Okay, so a few people are ready.
So embarrassing. It's alright, we have one. We'll use this one. Such a bad example. I'm really sorry.
Does Alan have any kids? No, and I don't want kids that are a waste of time. What is
Oh.
Alan's biggest secret? Well, I'm not going to tell you, am I? Jeg a claw. Weddy.
What?
Oh, they're ready.
Ready.
He's ready. Simon is ready.
Ready.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
James 5. Get so we have something for you to discuss actually. So actually Sarah can go and hunt for the Bible a little bit more while we
You don't have any
discuss.
clue where it is.
No.
I don't know how this has happened.
That's all right. We'll look for it in a minute. Okay, so James, just as a recap, remember what we're doing in James. We're looking at a letter written to a group of Christians who are poor and who are suffering and who are actually quite oppressed because they're poor. Non-Christian people around them actually take advantage of them because they're super poor. And in the situation where they're at, where they're poor, they're tempted actually to do stuff, to bicker amongst each other. And there's loads of things that they can do that are actually really wrong. So the letter is saying, in these really tough circumstances, this is the kind of stuff you need to remember, the stuff you need to be doing. So last time we looked at kind of like friendship with the world. There you go. It is around. So last time we were looking at kind of friendship with the world versus friendship with God. But today we're looking at like, how do we deal with difficult circumstances, which I think is really quite apt because at the moment it's a pretty weird situation, pretty difficult situation and circumstances for all of us. So let's look at this passage expecting God to have something to say, like to us, like as individuals. We have some things for you to chat about. Again, if you're with someone else, chat about it with the people you're with. If you're on your own, that's when the pen and paper comes in, jot down some ideas. What we want you to think about is do you want to kind of position this? And I'll say what we're going to do. I want you to think about this. I want you to think of a time when things didn't go the way you wanted them to. and think when things don't go your way, what's your most typical reaction? Okay, when things don't go your way, and yeah, it all goes to pieces and it's rubbish. What's your most typical reaction? Okay, these are options. Chat about them. You might say actually all of them. If it's all of them, that's fine. Just think, what does it look like in reality? You know, what do you maybe start off doing and then you move to this one? So chat about that. If you're on your own, then just jot down something. Jot down something on a piece of paper. Okay, chat about that for a bit. Go.
You can read them. Sorry, my writing's a bit hard to read sometimes. Oh, I'm going to have to hold this one while I do. Let's see if I can build up the loading in my head. There we go.
Yeah, I feel like we need a system.
What?
A system.
See?
A system instead of me sitting.
Can we just make it a target?
Yeah.
What do you do? To be honest, I think I do all of them. Various times.
Okay, good. Okay, that's enough of that. Brazilian music.
Definitely enough of
Okay,
that.
good. So I wonder what you guys thought, but for me, when things really don't go my way, I don't slam doors. And because outdoors don't really slam.
It's not possible, yeah.
But there's other reasons. I think I get I go into a mood. I go quiet and
Silent
sulky
treatment
and just sort of I say I'm okay and I just sort of like mope around a little bit. But I go silent, I think. I think I go into a mood. And I do complain. I probably go silent and sort of like that. And people will be like, what's going on? I'll be like, nah, it's okay. I mean, I'm just a bit annoyed about but it's okay. But So like, I'm sort of pretending that I'm not annoyed about it, but I'm like constantly complaining about it. So I think go into a mood, complain, and then I do accept it. I think I do tend to accept it.
I'm not so good at that.
I don't get really annoyed for ages. I tend to accept it at some point.
Yeah, I think I get angry, complain, feel frustrated, and mope around a bit as well, I think.
Yeah.
Rather than try and move on from it. I think I hold on to it. And I'm like, oh, I'm so annoyed about this. And then I cultivate my feeling of irritation over it. And I'm like, oh, I want to be annoyed about this. It didn't go my way. I'm so angry.
It's really easy to make life hard for other people, isn't it?
Yeah.
And even if you're not trying to, you're not like, I'm annoyed so someone needs to suffer. It affects your behavior so much that actually
you're miserable to live with.
Yeah, and you're not being like, right, I am now going to be miserable. But you do end up being miserable. You end up having a shorter temper with people.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, what we're going to look at in the study today is just how do you react? What do you do? What should you do when you might normally do that? When things really go badly. So, for example, for some of you who you're not going to get to do your exams. Some of you, like, you're not going to get to move up that school year and say goodbye to people in one school because you're moving to a next school for sixth form or whatever. For some of you, it might just be that real frustration that Word Alive isn't going to happen, or the POW can't meet, or whatever it is. When these circumstances hit, it's so easy just to feel that frustration, to get angry, to go into a mood, to be sulky, to take it out on other people. And so what the passage is saying today is saying, like, okay, when you're in those situations, and the passage in James is a lot more serious than some of these things, what's the right way to react to it? What is a Christian to do? And what does James say to the people in this book, but also what does God say to us? So you need to get James 5 open. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read verses 1 to 6 of James 5. And as I read that, I want you to think about, what have the people that James is writing to, what have they done? Well, actually, as he's writing about them, he's writing about these people. What have the people that James is talking about done? And what are the consequences of their actions going to be? Okay, so what have they done, and what are the consequences going to be? So James 5, verse 1 to 6. Come now, you rich, weep and howl for the miseries that are coming upon you. Your riches have rotted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver have corroded, and their corrosion will be evidence against you, and will eat your flesh like fire. You have laid up treasure in the last days. Behold, the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you kept back by fraud, are crying out against you, and the cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. You have lived on the earth in luxury and in self-indulgence. You have fattened your hearts in a day of slaughter. You have condemned, you have murdered the righteous person. He does not resist you. Okay, so again, chat for a few moments. What's been going on? What have these people done? And what are the consequences going to be for what they've done? Okay, so either chat about that with the people you're with, or make a little note. Keep the passage open in front of you as I chat about it, and then try to get an idea of that, and then we'll tell you what we think. Okay, so chat about it now. Go.
Enthusiastic
I
saxophone.
won't be
Right?
distracted.
Mm.
10 seconds, and then we're going to chat about it. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Silence that Brazilian nonsense. Okay. Okay. So it's clearly about some rich people, right? So verse 1, come now, you rich. And what have these people been doing? They've been naughty.
Yeah.
They've been taking advantage of other people, and they've been hoarding their own wealth at the expense of other people. So verse 4, the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you kept back by fraud, are crying out against you, and the cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. So these people have deliberately not paid the people they should have paid, and they've taken the money for themselves. They've taken the harvest for themselves. They've fattened themselves in the day of slaughter, it says. So there's almost that sense of like these people selfishly looking out for themselves at the expense of others. And
at the expense of people who are blameless. So verse 6 says, you've condemned and murdered the righteous person. He does not resist you. So it's people that weren't even trying to harm them or do anything wrong to them. They've just completely taken advantage and only thought about what they want and need. So, pretty bad.
An important thing to remember when we look at James is the vibe in the place is that the church, the Christians, are poor, and the people living around the Christians are rich. So when we see these rich people, they're probably talking about people that are outside the church. So they're probably talking about people that are outside the church. And remember, if you're poor, you're tempted to look up to the rich people, because the rich people are like, oh, if I can get on their good side, then they can help me. And
they can help me out in my life and give me what I need.
And in all my circumstances that are so bad, they can kind of save me from it. So that's the real temptation for the poor Christians that James is writing to here. Their real temptation, because they're really poor, is to trust in rich people instead of trusting in God.
And to get distracted by the things that the rich people have and can give them. And sort of thinking that they're worth more.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because we always think of rich people as being obsessed with money. They're like, poor people are obsessed with money. They're obsessed with getting something they haven't got. Like, rich people are just obsessed with getting more of what they've already got. But like, poor people can be even more obsessed with being rich and with getting money than rich people can in some cases. And so here is James is like talking to the rich people that have oppressed the poor Christians, and basically what they've been doing, like God has seen it, and like there's going to be consequences. The language is kind of pretty, like, isn't it? Like it's pretty severe,
pretty intense.
So you've got the whole idea of their own riches have rotted, their garments have wrath eaten, and then like the voices of the harvesters have reached the Lord of hosts. So it's like God has heard, God has seen what's going on. What are the consequences? That was the second question. So we see what they've been doing. What's kind of the consequences of their actions here?
Well,
Verse
basically
3.
it's coming back to bite them, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
because God hears it,
Yeah.
verse 3, he's going to turn their hoarding. So your gold and silver have corroded. Their corrosion will be evidence against you and will eat your flesh like fire.
yeah.
So there's almost that sense of like God sees what they're doing, sees them hoarding up all their wealth, and he's almost like, right, well, you've got it all in this life, but like because of the way you acted towards people, because of your selfishness in this life, there's a future judgment to come, and you're not going to escape.
Yeah.
It's like some serious, like, and it's not even warning, like it's not even a kind of stop it or else language. It's like, right, you guys, you're going to be done. Like it's pretty like bang, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I suppose if you're the Christians that are suffering, then this is justice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are people that have oppressed you, and God is saying, right, they're not gonna just be loving it forever.
Yeah. It's like he will not just let these things go unpunished. They're not unseen, are they?
Yeah.
I guess if you're a Christian who's actually underneath the oppression of these people, the temptation could be to think that God's just forgotten about you and doesn't care. But actually, it's like, no, everything that's unjust that has been done has been seen by God and will be judged fairly. So, yeah.
And that's the thing. I wonder if you guys have ever been in situations at school where you have been, you know, maybe not like proper picked on, proper bullied. Maybe you have at school because of your faith. And it's very easy to feel like God doesn't see that and God doesn't really know because something, you know, it feels like nothing's happening as a result of it. But here's a passage that just reminds us of what God has to say about those who like abuse his people.
It changes our perspective, I think, doesn't it? It's giving us a long-term perspective on what's happening right now.
Yeah, it's not just about what happens in this life right now. There's a whole future to come, and God is saying, like, there's going to be a reckoning. So I guess verses 1-6, rich people who've been living their life, getting them for themselves, abusing other people for their own gain, God sees it, and God says, there's a future coming where you're going to be judged for that. Good. Now we're going to move on to the next section, verses 7-12. And this is talking about the Christians that those rich people have been abusing. And it's what James says about them and what James says to them about what they should be doing when they're really suffering, when circumstances are really hard. Okay, so as I read this, what I want you to think about is how are these people different, the first group, first of all, and what's happening in their lives? And then what are they told to do in the circumstances they're in? What does James tell them they should be doing? Okay, so James 5, verse 7-12. Be patient, therefore, brothers, until the coming of the Lord. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, being patient about it until it receives the early and the late rains. You also be patient. Establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord is at hand. Do not grumble against one another, brothers, so that you may not be judged. Behold, the judge is standing at the door. As an example of suffering and patience, brothers, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. Behold, we consider those blessed who remain steadfast. You have heard of the steadfastness of Job, and you have seen the purpose of the Lord, how the Lord is compassionate and merciful. But above all, my brothers, do not swear either by heaven or by earth or by any other oath, but let your yes be yes and your no be no, so that you may not fall under condemnation. Okay, so how's that group different? What's kind of going on in their life, and what are they like told to do? What are they instructed by James to do? It's like, this is what you should be doing. Chat about that for a bit. Brazilian music to play for a few minutes. Should we go on to a next one?
Yeah, let's try a new track.
So jolly. Oh, I got paper on the pen.
Eu quis amar, mas tive medo e quis salvar meu coração, mas o amor sabe um segredo. pode nadar no seu coração. Água de beber, água de beber, camarada. Água de beber, água de beber, camarada.
Judah says, when it says swear, does it mean I swear I didn't do it, or like bad words? It's more like taking an oath. So like, I swear I didn't do it kind of thing. Good question. That's a really tricky verse. Lots of people
Well,
find
I swear I will do this, as in I
Yeah.
promise. It's like
that.
promising.
Yeah, I swear
really
on
strongly.
my mother's life kind of oath taking. Good question. Okay, 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes. 10 seconds.
Intense discussion. Yeah.
5 minutes. Bye. Yeah, 10 seconds. It is, isn't it? What's the door?
Absolutely. It's too hot.
Okay. Let's stop the music.
I don't know how on this phone, Ruben.
You hit the pause button. Okay. Okay, cool. So these people, I've already kind of, told you earlier, these people are the Christians that are being oppressed. So they're different because they believe in God. They're different because they believe in heaven and a future to come where there will be a judgment, where, everything is going to change in terms of how the world is laid out. And they're different because they're not rich, and they're the ones that have been oppressed. So there's loads of reasons why they're different. But what are they kind of told to do? What's the big things that jump out to you for what they're told to do?
I guess it's about, I think verse 8 is quite interesting. So it says, tells them to be patient and says, establish your hearts for the coming of the Lord is at hand. It's like he's encouraging them to just keep focusing on the future, on what's actually certain, the fact that Jesus is coming back and there is going to be a future judgment, and there is going to be future glory, and that should contextualize everything in their life. I guess when you're in the middle of a trial, in the middle of something really difficult, it's so easy to just get completely distracted by that one thing and to just obsess over that, and completely forget about what's actually true or what's potentially more important. And I think, he's trying to sort of refocus our minds, isn't he, on the future, and that should enable us to be patient and to be, to be able to look at our struggles and our trials in a completely different way, and to not be constantly feeling jealous of people who seem to have things better than us in this life, because we're actually thinking, no, there's something way better to come. I think.
So be patient is a big thing.
He wants to be patient, and then another word. He says, "Behold, we consider those blessed who remained steadfast." So he's talking about the prophets in the Old Testament, but for that word steadfast, it's just you just keep on. You keep on, despite the circumstances, you keep on in your faith, and you keep on living in a way that's right, I guess, because of what's coming in the future. So I guess a Christian should be somebody who's not unaffected by the trials of life, but who can. We should react in a different way, shouldn't we? Because this life is not all that we've got.
I think that patience thing is an easy. I mean, we all know what it means to be patient, and we all know what it means. I mean, we just think what we said at the beginning about how we react when something doesn't go our way, complaining, losing our rag, slamming doors, going into a sulk.
Just thinking about
imagine
yourself,
if we could just be 20% more patient than we normally are. How much of a difference that would make when we're just like, what, let's wait to see what happens. Let's not assume this is the worst thing ever. It might be okay. It might be better. It might be good. And patient, because it's not just patient because of this world. It's patient because there is something amazing to come.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing, isn't it? Like the antidote to these things that we do when we're frustrated that things don't go our way. The antidote to that is not just to try harder. It's actually to refocus your mind on what is true. Because sometimes we've completely lost sight of what's true. And actually, we shouldn't be sitting here feeling envious of other people. Because actually we've got everything in Christ, haven't we? So
That's the thing. That's the
it's
thing.
not
isn't
just
it?
a message of just try a bit harder, just be a bit better.
Because the thing is,
no
is
one
that
can do
there's
that.
a difference between positive, because you get lots of positive thinking out there.
Yeah.
Like even
It
now
might
with the
work for a bit,
coronavirus
but-
stuff, it's good in the sense that there is lots of let's stay positive, guys, let's work together.
Yeah.
And that's great. You want to do that, but why? Because actually, what if another epidemic comes along?
Yeah.
Or what if something else happens and you know what I mean? There's only so much positive thinking you can have when there's no underlying reason for it.
Mm.
But actually, for us as Christians, we could say, you know what, even if this gets really bad, and even if things get worse from here on,
Yeah.
we still know there's something amazing to come because
Yeah.
there's heaven and because of what Jesus has done for us. And so that changes the perspective. It's like we're not just waiting for the next good thing in this life.
Mm.
We're waiting for the eternal thing that's to come in the future. And so it's just changes our perspective on how we deal with tough things. And it's be patient. It doesn't say be patient because God will sort it out, and before long those mean people will stop being mean. It's be patient because the day of the Lord is at hand.
Yeah.
Like, that's where we should
the
be
judge
looking.
is standing at the door.
Yeah.
It's about the Lord sees everything that happens, and he is close, isn't he? And he will judge what's going to happen. We don't need to feel distraught when there's these kind of injustices in our lives, and when we feel we've been unfairly treated, or that we just don't have things as good as other people, because God sees it all, and he will judge fairly, won't he?
Yeah.
Everything.
And I guess that's the challenge, isn't it? To not look far enough ahead when we're looking for comfort. So to not just look for like, oh, you know what, next year, 2021, holding out for 2021, or like, you know what, when I get to this stage of life, then maybe there's no guarantees.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees, but there is a guarantee about Jesus.
Yeah.
And there is a guarantee about the new heavens and the new earth. So I think maybe it's that be patient and put your eyes where something's going to get better.
Yeah.
Like 100% it's going to be better. And that's on Christ's return, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's one big message. Steadfastness. What do you think steadfastness looks like for us nowadays? Because here you got the idea of Job, who suffers like crazy. If you ever read the story of Job suffers like crazy.
Yeah.
And he never curses God, does he? And people are being like, nah, you've done something wrong, you've sinned, you should. And Job's like, he remains steadfast. He remains like, nah, God's got a purpose in this. And what do you think steadfastness? What's the difference between patience and steadfastness, you think?
I guess steadfastness, you're just keeping on, aren't you?
Not
And
getting too
almost kind
flustered.
of, like not unflappable. It's not that you won't be, affected by bad things that happen, but they shouldn't sway us, I guess, should they?
Yeah.
Is that a good way to describe it?
Yeah, steadfast is like, steadfast. Like I think just carrying on, isn't it? Just so when everyone else is losing their rag and flipping out, like you can feel maybe a little bit like disturbed inside, but you're like, but I'm not going to freak out.
Yeah, I'm going to choose to
I've
carry,
got an anchor.
Yeah.
I've got an anchor. Like as a Christian, we have an anchor that other people don't have.
Yeah.
And I think that, but remember for James, it's people that are oppressed, that are poor, and James is telling them, be patient, be steadfast, keep going, because there is a final judgment. And on that final judgment, those that are oppressing you are going to be judged, and you're going to be redeemed. So that's the kind of big kind of thing. So those are big principles. Okay, those are big principles of justice, about God's judgment that's going to come, and how we should live in light of it. Now, what we want you to do is we want you to think about what kind of things would you need to how would you put that whole principle of being patient, being steadfast, and looking forward to the day of Jesus if certain situations happen? That's what we want you to think about and talk about now. Okay, so this is the last thing we're going to do, and this will be just something to chat about. Again, it's something to jot down. And what we want you to think is, we want you to think about what is genuinely right now the worst suffering that you could face. And we try to think of things that are on the extreme end of realistic. So it's not that they're they could happen, but they're still the worst case scenario in some ways. So, but what we want you to do is think about these things and say, what's the worst suffering that you could face? And then how would you apply the whole idea of patience and steadfastness, waiting for the day of the Lord, into this situation? Okay? Loose idea of how it works. Think about this. What's the worst thing that you could imagine happening out of these options? And then think how would this passage maybe help you? Or what should it look like for you to react in a way that fits with this passage in that situation? Okay, these are the things. Here comes the sheet.
Sorry if you can't read my writing.
So I'll read them out. You or someone you love ends up getting really ill. That's a possibility right now, isn't it? You end up having to repeat your year at school. The coronavirus lockdown gets worse and lasts all summer, so things like contagious don't happen, maybe. You and your family have to suddenly move somewhere. You have to leave all your friends or your stuff or your school behind, and it's somewhere you really hate, somewhere you really don't want to go. Or lastly, you're not allowed to go out with someone that you really genuinely like you're really attracted to them, you get on really well, but you're not allowed to go out with them for one reason or another. Okay, so just chat about that. If you're with people, if you're on your own, then just jot down what of those would be the worst suffering that you could kind of imagine going through right now, or maybe there's something else that you could imagine. But I want you to think not just like something that like, oh, I can't really imagine that happening. I want you to try and think about something that you could actually kind of imagine happening, and you're like, I don't really want to imagine it because it feels too like kind of real, too scary. Chat about that for a bit. Jot down some notes. We'll leave the sheet up for a few more minutes, and then we'll chat about it.
My aching arm.
Dun, 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 dun. Can you reach the phone?
Yeah.
I can't sit here and I'll play some Brazilian music. Brazil.
Wow.
That's Brazilian. That's Portuguese.
Stop people discussing.
Oh, it's done.
Oh, goodness, it's so loud, this one. Right, we should let people discuss. Let people discuss.
Oh, it's not Brazilian anymore. Little known fact, that's actually the Brazilian national anthem.
Let people discuss.
Next time you watch a football game, you'll see all the Brazilian players lining up and going.
We done?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's actually quite a good point.
Bang. It's true, but we just tried to do things that were relevant to the time, Judah. So.
But yes, you're right. They were mainly featured around one topic.
Yeah, but we also figured that social distancing, there might be someone you want to go out with and you literally can't hang out with them. So,
yeah.
You know, still relevant. Thanks. Okay. So with those things, we tried to think of examples for you guys. I think, I don't know, the coronavirus getting longer and lasting all summer, that's something that's a worst case scenario for you, isn't it? We were talking about that even today. And just the whole idea of like,
well, it's not a worst case scenario,
well,
but yeah,
it's bad,
it's
isn't
stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's stressful, and it's like that whole idea of who might you not be able to see.
Yeah, the people you might need to go and visit, and things you might be able to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, imagine that was the case. Imagine the lockdown got worse, and imagine like food started to get like harder to get hold of, and it was just genuinely like, well, we're going to give to Marlowe, and like. We're not going to see family for ages. What in that situation, they got really bad. And that's not, being oppressed for a Christian. That's everybody's in the same boat. But what principles can we still take from this passage?
Yeah.
That should affect dealing with difficult circumstances like that. Patience, steadfastness.
Yeah. I think like as a Christian, just the fact that you do have an amazing future to come, and that's certain. Like, I mean, I know we just say that so easily, but that isn't true for everybody. And actually, like,
I guess for some people, if they don't live their best life in this life, then that
it's
moment's
just a
gone,
complete
and then
failure.
they feel like that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, we even talking a little bit today about like, oh, what's it going to be like for Marlowe? Is it going to be bad for him as he gets older? And I guess if you're a parent who doesn't believe in God and you have a little kid, then it's like, oh my goodness, the world has been ruined for them, and they don't get to actually live life to the fullest.
Yeah.
And like for us, it's like, wow, there's so much more to come. Like, there's so much. There's a focus that's totally different, isn't there?
Yeah, you don't have to feel, really distraught when things don't seem to go your way on this earth, because this really isn't all there is.
Yeah.
Like the best life you could live on this earth is nothing compared with what we will have in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's easy to say that, but harder to actually really, feel like it's true, isn't it?
Right.
Because, like we say, when we're in the middle of a situation, it's so easy. It's the things it's the people you're with that you can actually talk to. It's things you can touch and you can taste, things you can feel. They're the things that occupy your mind. Not, but actually, it's always, it's always the answer we give. But really, like reading the Bible and thinking about, actually like turning over in your mind, truths. From the Bible, I think.
Yeah, and that's what we're kind of trying to do.
It's got to help, hasn't it? Yeah.
That's what we're kind of trying to help you guys with actually at the moment with the channel. Actually, the reason we want to keep Pow going as much as possible is because it's fun and it's bounce, but also like we feel like you guys need more Bible in your life right now with everything else that's going on. It's not just you, but we need it the same. Like it's been really helpful to me to do the Psalm devotions.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing them and uploading them, it makes me look at the Bible more. So actually, like, and that's made a big difference. Like we've been chatting about stuff sometimes, and stuff has come into my head because I've been doing those things. So I feel like it's like, don't take for granted the fact that you have the truth with you that changes how you see the circumstances you're in. And
like other things have changed at the moment. There's things we don't have. We can't meet up on Friday at the moment in the same way, but there are things that, we can do, and that, we shouldn't take those for granted.
Yeah. That's kind of it. What we'll do is we'll just pray, but we haven't given you much of a heads up for prayer requests. So what we'll do now is we'll say, right, if there is something you want us to pray for,
if there's like a really big one you want,
then send it into the group.
You don't mind having shared on here.
Yeah.
Not just.
Yeah. So put it into the group, and what we'll do is we'll pray for it. And then if for some reason a message gets in late when we're already praying, then it'll be on there, and we can all pray.
We'll pray for it at home.
We will, but also the group, you guys will see it, so you guys can pray.
I'm just checking there isn't anything I've missed on here.
So let's have one more random chat while we wait for any potential prayer requests. We're going to randomly chat about, and hey, how about this? If you're not going to do a prayer request, which is fine, don't have to. If you're not going to do a prayer request, maybe you can send your thoughts in on the comments, and your thoughts have to revolve around coconut water. Tell us what you think about coconut water. What do you think about coconut water?
Such a trendy drink. Is it trendy anymore?
Yeah, it's annoying though, because I used to have coconut water all the time in Madagascar, because it just grows like
is it true that
coconut water trees.
There's different coconuts where one you get milk from, one you get water from, right?
Yeah. The big fat green ones you get water from. They're like this big, and they're like you can't eat the flesh. And you get water from those.
Oh, because I feel like
water.
In the movies, they always have coconut with the top cut off and a straw in it, don't they?
Oh, Silas, that's sad. Silas has just said happy murder mystery night. Do you know how long Sarah spent writing
that? Took over my life for about 2 months, seriously.
Right. But you know what?
We are going to do it.
It's all part.
It's ready to go.
Literally ready to go. So as soon as, and I think what we'll do is when Pow gets up and running again, there will be a launch.
If the Lord wills it.
If God wills it.
Yeah.
Then it will be lit, and we'll do it. Yeah. Anyway, coconut water. So what's up with coconut water?
Coconut water is
anything coconutty is gross, says Stanley.
Wrong.
Wrong. Oh, yeah. Surprisingly prevalent opinion, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. What is?
I feel like coconut is one of the least offensive flavors you can have. Like I can't imagine anybody thinking really strong. I can't imagine anybody like I love it, or even I hate it. I feel like it's disgusting.
I love coconut, but weirdly don't love a Bounty.
I like a dark Bounty. I don't like a milk Bounty. It's too sweet. Milk.
No, I wouldn't go for a dark Bounty.
The best version of coconut is. Complete that sentence.
Sorry, what?
Never mind.
So I was reading the
coconut sorbets left. Coconut sorbets.
The best what? Sorry, say.
Coconut froyo. It's all right.
I didn't hear it.
The best version of coconut.
Desiccated.
Desiccated. Yeah.
So versatile, such a versatile ingredient.
Let's see if we have any.
The taste is nice, but the
requests.
texture.
Prayer request from Jimmy Maloney. That's good. Thank you, James. We've got one. We'll give it a few more minutes.
Should
we have another?
Random?
So we talked about coconut water, and we talked more about coconut than coconut water. Sorry. Electrolytes, isn't it?
Electrolytes. Good.
Okay.
Good for rehydration.
We're going to talk about Hats.
Hat. You're a hat.
I
fan.
don't wear a hat as much as I used to.
You're always wearing a hat. You've always got a baseball cap.
Nah, because I think my head is bigger now. I've got a bit more hair, so there's a bunch. It's true. There's a few I can't wear anymore. All my trilbies I can't wear anymore. They're just like you put them on, and they're like whoop.
Also, you get serious. Also, you get serious hat hair. as
Yeah,
well
I
now.
know.
So
Yeah, I know.
you get it's kind of like
you got to deal with that whole
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
You know what? I don't know that there's many hat people in Pow.
I feel like Cherry wears maybe like a
Yeah.
woolly hat sometimes.
Yeah, Cherry will wear a woolly hat. Mads is not.
People are
'cause it's
still on
hair.
coconuts. Oh, we've got another prayer request.
Oh, okay, good.
Here.
Thanks, Asha. I'll make a note of that.
And
There's not many hat people in Pow. I maintain my point.
best hat.
James Maloney, bucket hat. You're good. That's a good point, James. You do
Bucket
wear
hat.
a bucket hat.
Bucket hat. What's the best kind of hat?
Trilby.
I like a Panama actually in the summer. What do you think about Panama?
Yeah, Panama's classic. Yeah. It's always you always wear it when it's hot and it gets sweaty and you don't want a hat on.
I just think they look so stylish.
They do look stylish, but you need to
On
have the right
anyone.
outfit for them. Yeah.
You do need the right outfit. That's
Yeah.
true.
Can't wear them with joggers.
No.
So I'm just writing down Ash's thing. So why don't you talk about another thing while I write down the prayer
What, on
request?
my own?
Yeah.
Just to have a random.
Well, challenge them to see. Challenge them to do something.
This is a really random one. I can't. No, that's
go on.
so random. I can't ad lib.
You wrote it.
I
It's in your
I
handwriting.
can't ad lib.
We wrote all of these things ages ago.
I
Be
think
like
let's
random
pick one that I
things.
can actually
And
say
she wrote
something
it.
about.
Okay.
Opposites. I don't know what to say about that. Opposites attract. Are we opposite? I think in many ways we are. I think you're more of an optimist. I'm more of a pessimist. Opposites. What else can we say about that? Not a lot, really. Anyone got any?
That was great.
That was really highly interesting, wasn't it?
Why don't we pray? I think we're
bored of me
starting to push it, aren't
Yeah.
we? Okay, guys. So we've got a prayer request from James Maloney, which is a prayer request for all of us. James, pray that we will be patient with our families when we spend more and more time with them. Yeah, totally. I think that's a really good one. I think it's you suddenly like realize. And the thing is, it's still pretty early days, isn't it? So. I think yeah, patience with families definitely. Asha, I think that's a good one. Praying for focus when we're studying or working from home. Like I've got to write sermons and stuff like that from home at the moment, and it's just really different. And like you hear Marlo coming and knocking on the door, and you want to let him in, but you can't. And then yeah, it's just a whole different focused kind of game, isn't it? So yeah, we'll pray for that. And then also Maddox. Maddox says contagious and word alive. Contagious, I guess. Let's pray that it would happen. Word alive. Let's pray for all the people that run it because now it's cancelled. It's going to be a bit of a headache for them to sort all out the repayments and stuff like that. So I think we should do that. And then,
and for everyone that's sad that we can't go.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
Any more?
And then let's just pray for.
Just seeing if there's any more coming up.
And then we'll pray for. Just
great
for us to
hat
be patient and
pictures.
steadfast. Some good hat pictures. Thank you for your hat pictures.
But not a point for prayer.
No. But good nonetheless. Okay, so I'm going to pray for patience with family. I'm going to pray for focus in studies and work from home. I'm going to pray for word alive and contagious. And I'm going to pray for just us to apply that thing to whatever suffering we might go through, either whether it's now or further down the line. Let's pray, guys. Okay, Father, we pray firstly that you would help us with our families at the moment when we're spending a lot more time at home with our siblings, with our parents. And Father, you know what we're like. You know that we do have short tempers sometimes. We do get frustrated with each other. And when you can't get out of the house and kind of get a break from it, it is hard work. So we pray that you'd help us to really have some just crazy patience right now. And pray we'd come to appreciate our families even more now that we spend a bit more time with them. Pray also that you'd help us with our focus in our studies when we don't have teachers kind of breathing down our necks and being strict with us and giving some of those structures that maybe we do need sometimes, help us to be able to concentrate on the work that we need to do from home when we're not in a classroom and still get some good stuff done. And we just pray for all the people that run Word Alive after it had to be cancelled because of the coronavirus. We pray that you'd help them to sort out all the repayments and things like that. Pray that the Word Alive would be still okay to go on next year, and pray that that would all be kind of fine. And pray for Contagious as well. It still seems like it's a long way off, but we do know there's a chance that it might get affected by the lockdown at the moment. We do just pray that everything would be cleared up by that point so that Contagious can go ahead. And we pray that whatever suffering we might have coming up around the corner, or even right now, we do pray that you'd help us to be patient and to be steadfast, and to remember that the Lord is going to return, and he's going to come back and he's going to judge. And Father, that's a day that we should be really looking forward to and really acting like it's going to proper happen. So we thank you for all these things, and thank you for this time that we've had together as well. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Good. Okay, guys. So remember, we're going to change the communication for the group a little bit. So make sure your parents look out for an email either tomorrow or Sunday. And there'll probably be a new group, and we'll do it in a new way. We have got comments on here as well, so that's going to change things now. Secondly, your challenge for next week is to do a little video entitled Silk Only Club. The spirit of Silk Only Club.
Whatever that means.
That's what you got to do. Good. That's it for Pow Online episode 2. Don't forget as well, send us in some ideas for Alan if you have any ideas of what Alan wants to do.
On the group.
Okay, cool. If you want, yeah. If we can do it, we will. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it.
Hope you enjoyed episode number 2.
Yes.
Don't forget to be at 7:30 to hear the winning jingle
Yes.
next week.
Winning jingle. What's it gonna be? Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.